All right, good morning, Karen Scholl, Operations Section Chief with the Alaska Incident Management Team, here with your briefing for August 30th. In the North Zone yesterday, good work continues to hold and improve the containment lines that we have along the Underwood Mountain Road all the way around the corner. As we talked about yesterday, we blackened the line as it came down to the New River. The fire has backed all the way down to the New River, and so we were able to put containment line all the way around to Bell Flat. We don't have people in Bell Flat, and as you can, in Big Creek. As you can see, the fire continues to run in this, or move in this rugged country, and we just don't have the resources to get in and go after that. So Big Mountain, the fire is established on the south side there, and will likely continue moving, taking advantage of the topography and the fuel availability. We've got folks moving from Daly up to Denny today. Plan on starting on dozer line and hand line around the community and start putting up structure protection where needed. Up along our primary line, our holding line from the wilderness down, we're nearly complete with all of our dozer line and our improvements, but we'll be in there today to finish that up. So mastication of the lines, and then completing some of the lines as they come down to either Bell Flat or down around the community. So that project is nearly complete. Most of the projects in Trinity Village and Hawkins Bar area are complete, and as far as structure protection and the dozer lines and hand lines that needed to be put in. Up in the north part of the fire, very active again yesterday in Big French Creek. We're starting to see the lifting earlier, and that ventilation as well as the solar radiation is causing increase in fire behavior. So did see some movement to the north and then up on the northeast side as well. We've got data coming in that indicates that we've got fire very close down to the North Fork. We're trying to verify today with our drones whether it's crossed the North Fork or not, but right now it is, pretty much down at the bottom and holding, but we will try and get up to verify. If they have clear skies over here in the northeast corner, our plan is to put buckets, so dropping water out of buckets to keep that cool and to try and keep it on the west side of the North Fork. Yesterday we were unable to get aircraft up into that area. They saw a little bit of blue sky for a few minutes, but they were unable to, the helicopters were unable to access in there consistently, and so we were not able to put water in that area. Up in the Hobo Gulch area, work continues with that dozer line. We've got a couple of crews in there supporting, trying to brush and snag and make sure we're doing enough but not too much on the Hobo Gulch. And then the rest of the East Fork Road has been prepped, and crews are just tightening up their plan, checking every day the hose lays and where they're at, and making sure that everything's ready for when they're going to need to take action. Let's see, on the contingency line, we'll have masticators back in there as well as crews, broadening that line, dropping snags and brushing out further. This is a very much of a razor ridge line, so it's very steep. So in places it's only about one blade wide as far as the dozer line. So they're really trying to brush it out and make it a little bit wider to make it a more viable containment line. Mastication continues on the access roads, so that it gives us a better escape routes and places to hold the fire at. We also have crews and equipment working on the contingency lines and alternate lines north and west of Weaverville, and we'll continue to strengthen those lines as able with equipment. And also continue to run patrols through the 299 corridor, both from the east and from the west, just to ensure everything's looking good through there. Down in our southwest part of the fire, Yesterday, with a little bit of that lifting and a little bit of that southwest wind, we had a lot of alignment. We've talked about this, the alignment of the topography with the fuel loading and then the clear skies, and then the wind coming in, all aligned together to increase the fire behavior both in the Knowles Gulch area and the top of Sims Gulch, or Sims Gap. And so there was very active fire behavior in both of those places. Hay Fork, you were probably able to see it, and Jim will talk more about that. But very increased fire behavior, and again, it's that ventilation that is, and the lifting of the smoke, which is both good and bad. So we can get in there with aircraft, and we can see where the fire is, but we also have increased fire behavior, which can threaten lines. For us up on Pattison Ridge, we had to start firing because the fire down in Knowles Gulch had crept over into the next little drainage to the west, and so we fired the line last night, another couple 100 feet. We didn't go far. We can see our major check line. We didn't make it there. We brought it to the minor ridge in between the main fire and here, and so this will end up being, we'll hold this spot today, this area, and just let the main fire continue to dictate our speed. We're not in a rush. We're just trying to stay ahead of the main fire in order to just kind of let it do its thing naturally. Elsewhere, work continues on the mastication of the primary lines, the primary indirect lines, and we're nearly complete there. Work continues on the High Palm Road with chipping to reduce those fuels and make it a little bit more viable of a holding feature. So chipping and falling snags along the High Palm Road, and we're nearly to our tie-in point, which is where we plan on stopping that, those improvements. So work continues there, trying to improve those lines. Continued on the Pelletreau Road down to the 36 to open that up as a place for folks to be able to exit High Palm safely. And then, some actions for today is we're really paying attention to this corner as CAL FIRE brings their fire across to us, and what that's going to look like. I'll let Jim talk more specifically on what's happening down in that triangle down there. Additionally, late in the afternoon yesterday, around 3 p.m., there was a new start south of Willow in the China Creek area and Friday Ridge. So that started, and it grew very quickly and significantly. And with the clear sky that they were having, it went to about 250 acres by about 11:30 last night. That's the latest update I have. It was burning very actively with erratic fire behavior, uphill runs, and active backing. So that's called the knob fire. The forest, Six Rivers Forest, is in command of that fire at this time. So we're sending resources and sent resources yesterday to help out, and we'll continue to support that. So we sent engines, crews, dozers, and air support. So we had 5 helicopters working on that last night as late as they could, trying to keep it in check. And with all of that, it still went from about 50 acres at 4 o'clock to about 250 acres by close to midnight. So that's the kind of fuels that we still have out here. We talked about the dryness of the fuels. Any little spark, any little accidental start is going to go really, really big very quickly. And we're expecting those types of conditions to continue, especially with this flow that we've got out of the west, more westerly flow. There's no smoke to our west that's trying to cap our fire. So any kind of starts we get are going to be grow pretty quickly, very significantly and very quickly. So that's kind of a wrap of what we have going on. Today is our shadow day with a new incoming team, which is the team that we took over. So you'll see some familiar faces, I'm sure, right here, as well as across with the rest of the folks, like the public information officers and people that you interact with. A lot of familiar faces will be coming back. So just wanted to mention that. The morning briefings here will continue. Likely you'll see Alex doing those, and he was here previous. I would like to just say thanks for your support. It's been a privilege to serve the communities, and you guys have a good day out there.
Section Chief of CAL FIRE Incident Management Team 5 with an update for the south zone of the monument. No change in Junction City down to Evans Bar. Continue to mop up and improve the line. We have actually been able to pull out some of the hose in that area. Line is holding. There is still interior heat that we're addressing and hazard trees that we're addressing as well. So you'll continue to see a presence of engines in that area. They'll be pretty mobile and moving and patrolling the line throughout the day. As we move to the south, just to the west of Maxwell Creek Road, we were able to add black line or containment line to that map yesterday. However, crews will have a presence in that area too. Even as we add containment line, it's important to remember that the fuels are very volatile and something from the interior coming out into the unburned vegetation is still a concern of ours. So we'll continue to be diligent and have crews patrol that area. In Shake Ridge and Garden Gulf Lane will continue to patrol that area. No fire growth. We're continuing to mop up aggressively, and we'll keep you updated on that area as well as we move through the next 24 hours. But no fire growth. Continue to mop up and build depth in there. We added black line to the map on the Harrison Road area just north of Hayfork up Forest Road, Route 16. But there's, again, interior heat on the line that we're addressing, and we'll be continuing to mop up in that area and patrol the line. Priority for us continues to be northwest Hayfork. Crews have been improving the line, really mopping up. Yesterday, our fire began to progress down towards Little Creek and impinge on that area. So that was a trigger point for us to do a small firing operation that in small pieces that will started early this morning, continue throughout the day. So as the fire moves down the hill, we will be bringing fire up to it to check it at that point. That's all occurring south of Sims Gap and north of High and Palm Road. Contingency is making great progress as they tie into Tooley Creek Road as their ending point to probably another day of adding that contingency line, and then they'll turn back up north to put additional check lines in that area. And we continue to coordinate with the North Zone along High and Palm Road to build line in that area as well. So very little fire growth yesterday outside our fire perimeter. Main priority northwest Hayfork and the fire that's progressing down the hill that we are addressing early this morning and will continue to address throughout the day. Thank you.